Cleopatra, aged just 21, defeated her younger brother in battle to become Queen of Egypt. Despite her Greek heritage, she embraced Egyptian traditions. Researchers have been in a relentless search for the tomb of the infamous Queen Cleopatra for centuries, and guess what? They have just found it. Not only was her tomb discovered, but secrets of the then civilization were also unveiled. How did archaeologists discover the exact site of the tomb? What clues led them to it? Strap your seat belts as we embark on a thrilling adventure that will leave us in awe. Cleopatra and Mark Antony's final moments were truly heartbreaking and have become legendary. It all began after their defeat in the Battle of Actium when they sought refuge in Egypt, only to be relentlessly pursued by Octavian's forces. Antony was angry at Cleopatra for her role in their defeat, but eventually, they reconciled and found solace in each other in Alexandria. However, Cleopatra soon realized that Octavian would never see her as anything other than an enemy. She knew he would seize her and her children, parading them as trophies of his victory in Rome. Faced with this fate, Cleopatra made a heart-wrenching decision. She sent a message to Antony informing him that she had taken her own life. Upon receiving this devastating news, Antony was consumed by grief. In despair, he ended his own life by falling upon his sword. Though the version of events presented by classical writers suggests that Cleopatra's physician, Olympos, documented her death without specifying the cause, the story evolved, and soon it became widely accepted that an Egyptian cobra, called an asp, was involved. Strabo, an early source, claimed to have witnessed Cleopatra's suicide or was at least present in Alexandria at the time. Writing a century later, Dio likely drew from Olympos' historical account. According to the tale, Cleopatra had an asp brought to her concealed within a basket of figures. She allowed the deadly serpent to bite her, sealing her tragic fate. The date of her death is believed to be either August 10 or 12, 30 BCE. Another theory proposes a more frightening plot. It suggests that Octavian, a powerful figure in the Roman Empire, orchestrated Cleopatra's murder to strengthen his hold on the empire. Others theorize that she may have chosen to die by poisoning herself. Some even suggested that she may have died from suffocation by placing a bag over her head. Unfortunately, with only fragmented accounts and no concrete evidence, the truth surrounding Cleopatra's death remains unknown. We are left with mystery, leaving you to wonder if the full story will ever be unveiled. Adding to the sorrow surrounding Cleopatra's demise is the mystery surrounding her final resting place. Despite the passing of over 2 millennia, the tomb of Antony and Cleopatra is yet to be discovered, leaving historians and archaeologists intrigued and searching for clues to unravel this mystery. Let's talk about the burial of Cleopatra and Antony. After their defeat in 30 BCE, the Roman leader Octavian permitted Cleopatra and Antony to be buried together. On the other hand, their kids were taken to Rome to be raised as Roman citizens. It's believed that Emperor Augustus agreed to let Cleopatra, a pharaoh, be buried with her lover, Antony. They were probably mummified to preserve their bodies. According to the historian Plutarch, Antony and Cleopatra were buried in Cleopatra's mausoleum. Antony, who died by falling on his sword, was then laid to rest in the mausoleum. 2 weeks later, Cleopatra died and was buried in the mausoleum. Now here's where the real mystery begins. People believe that their tomb is somewhere around Alexandria, Egypt. One theory suggests it's in or near a temple called Taposiris Magna, southwest of Alexandria. The Egyptian Antiquity Service backs up this idea. But wait, there's more. Another theory proposes that Cleopatra might have chosen a place called the Royal Necropolis at Al-Qurun Fuda. It's a sacred burial ground on the western side of the Red Sea. That's an interesting twist, isn't it? Of course, there have been other suggestions about where the tomb might be, but Alexandria remains the most popular guess. It's like a big puzzle waiting to be solved, but so far, nobody has found their final resting place. You won't believe what happened after Cleopatra and Mark Antony died. Their poor children had such tragic fates. It's heartbreaking. Octavian spared the lives of their 3 kids and took them to Rome. But here's the really sad part. Octavian made the children walk through the streets of Rome in chains made of gold. Can you imagine? They were paraded around like that behind a statue of their mom holding a snake called an asp. It must have been so humiliating and painful for them. Octavian decided to give the kids to his sister, Octavia, who used to be married to Mark Antony. In a tragic turn of events, their children all died. First, it was Caesar Ion, the son of Julius Caesar. Octavian, being the wicked man he was, ordered the poor kid to be killed. It's just so cruel and unfair. Then there were Alexander Aelios and Cleopatra Selene. After their parents and their half-brother Caesar Ion died, they were technically the rulers of Egypt. But they were just kids, you know? Cleopatra sent them away to Thebes to keep them safe during the fights between their parents and Octavian. They were brought back to Alexandria, their hometown, when everything settled down. But the heartless ruler Octavian, because of his desire to have control over Egypt, took them to Rome with him. Now Cleopatra Selene had a bit of a different fate. Her dad, Mark Antony, gave her some kingdoms in Crete and Cyrenaica. But after her parents died, she had to live with her brothers in Octavian's house. When she was just 15 years old, she was married to a man named King Juba II of Numidia. Octavian sent them to rule a place called Mauritania. What efforts have archaeologists made in the discovery of Cleopatra's tomb? For almost 2 decades, archaeologists have been on a relentless quest to find Cleopatra's mausoleum. Their tireless efforts have recently led to some promising discoveries that offer a glimmer of hope. Archaeologists have employed various methods to aid in their search over the years. These methods include meticulous excavations at numerous sites across Egypt, focusing on the Taposiris Magna temple. Intriguing clues, such as the massive tunnel, have been excavated within these sites. In addition to traditional excavations, cutting-edge technology has played a pivotal role in the quest for Cleopatra's tomb. Geophysical surveys have been employed to scan the underground landscape, seeking hidden structures or anomalies that might indicate the presence of a tomb. Ground-penetrating radar has also been utilized, enabling archaeologists to penetrate beneath the surface and detect any telltale signs of hidden chambers or structures. Furthermore, satellite imagery has been scrutinized, scouring the Earth's surface for peculiarities or structures that could be linked to Cleopatra's tomb. Yet the search for Cleopatra's tomb is not solely reliant on modern techniques. Historians have delved deep into ancient texts and documents, painstakingly sifting through historical accounts in a quest for clues that might pinpoint the location of the hidden tomb. Guess what? The findings of archaeologists have paid off, as they have made an incredibly exciting and unexpected discovery at Taposiris Magna in Egypt, which bolstered the theory floating around that Cleopatra and Mark Antony might be buried in a place called Taposiris Magna. And there's some pretty intriguing evidence to support this idea. Some archaeologists found 2 mummies in a tomb in Taposiris. Initially, these archaeologists faced difficulty identifying the mummies because of the great damage that had happened to them. Still, relentlessly, they took some X-rays of the mummies, and it turns out one was a man, and the other was a woman. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. There's a theory that these mummies could have been priests who were important in keeping the pharaohs in power. One of the mummies has a scarab image painted with gold leaf. The scarab symbolizes rebirth, so it's like a clue pointing towards something special. People call this discovery sensational because it shows how significant the Taposiris Magna necropolis is. Now, let's dive a little into history. Taposiris Magna was a city that was built way back in the 3rd century BCE by a pharaoh named Ptolemy II Philadelphus. Taposiris Magna Temple was no ordinary place. It was a sacred haven dedicated to the awe-inspiring god of death and the afterlife, Osiris. It was a true marvel of geometry, stretching an astonishing 135 meters in length and standing at a modest 2 meters tall. This tunnel is an absolute marvel of design and engineering. It's been described as a geometric miracle because of its complex architecture. It's a replica of the famous tunnel of Eupalinos in Greece, a monumental achievement. So, while we can't say for sure just yet, the evidence found at Taposiris Magna certainly adds a touch of optimism to the idea that Cleopatra and Mark Antony might have found their final resting place there. Who knows what other incredible treasures and secrets might be waiting to be uncovered at Taposiris Magna? Let's keep our fingers crossed for more mind-blowing surprises. Dr. Kathleen Martinez, a Dominican lawyer, archaeologist, and diplomat, has devoted her life to uncovering the long-lost tomb of Cleopatra. For 14 years, her efforts have been nothing short of remarkable. It all began in 2004 when Dr. Martinez first set foot in Egypt and had the opportunity to contact Zahi Hawass, a renowned archaeologist and director of the Supreme Council of Antiquities. As she explored various temples, she had a strong feeling that Taposiris Magna held the key to her quest. This realization sparked her determination to pursue this ancient site for 14 years.